Hey, y'all.
Hey.
In 1995, I went to 16 baby showers. Also in 1995, my husband and I decided to get off the infertility roller coaster and get onto a different one, the adoption roller coaster. So we got ourselves a lawyer, we got ourselves an adoption agency, we filled out 1,000 pieces of paperwork. We sat down with that lawyer and that adoption agency and they said, thank you very much, now you must find your own baby. 1995 was an interesting time for adoption. It was way past when they had adoption agencies where you called up, you paid a little cash, and they sent you a baby either wrapped in a blue ribbon or a pink ribbon. And it was the infancy of the internet, so you didn't have that. So what you had to do was find your own baby. And that was either through word of mouth or advertising. So we decided, well, okay, we'll do this advertising thing. So we wrote a absolutely fabulous reason why we should be adoptive parents in 5 sentences or less. And when my children, and you put it in a local paper, so when my children these days ask where babies come from, we say the Virginian pilot. So we waited, 1995 turned into 1996. It was a terrible winter, it was dark, it was gloomy. The spring was no better. And then one random day in April, I was sitting in my kitchen and the box on the wall rang. This is when people were not walking around with phones. And if I hadn't been there when the box on the wall rang, I wouldn't have gotten to answer it. And I answered the call, and it was a young woman that said, my friend is pregnant and she is unable to provide for her baby, and we read your ad and we'd like to meet you and discuss the adoption possibilities. So, of course, I said yes. And I met her on Friday the 12th of April. And we spoke with her, my husband and I, and we discussed all the options, and she said she had about 3 weeks to deliver. And we went through what our attorneys had said and what the adoption agency had said that we needed to do. And we talked to her for about an hour, and then that was that. And then I went into the car and I got with my husband, Lindsay, and I turned to him and I said, well, this is our baby. And of course everybody was go slow, go slow, go slow. And I said, no, this is the baby. As usual, I'd watched all the Lifetime movies, so I knew when this baby and mother were supposed to be together, then that was what was going to happen. So we went and told a couple of people, but we did try to make not a big deal about it. And then the next day, I went to an aerobics class around 8 a.m. because that's what you did in the 90s. And I came home and I was standing in the kitchen and that same box on the wall rang again. But this time, it was this beautiful woman's father who said to me, the baby has been born and you need to come and get him. And I thought to myself, holy shit, it's a him. I'd never thought that I would ever have a him baby. I just always thought that girls were my thing. And so I ran and I got my husband, Lindsay, and we went to the hospital, and we walked into the nursery, and there was this baby boy, and he was perfect, and he was gorgeous. And we were told he was perfect. He said he's 21 inches, 7.5 pounds. He's this perfect baby. And we got to hold him, and we got to feed him, and we got to talk about him. And then there was a bunch of chatter in the hallway, and it was all the people, all the lawyers and the social workers and the administrators from the hospital. And my husband did what my husband does, and he went and talked to them. Well, I did what I do, and I went in and I spoke to the birth mother. And she was so incredible and so beautiful, and she had just given birth to this baby. And I asked her, I said, wow, I thought you had a couple of weeks and you gave birth. And she said to me, well, I got in the car with my friend and I started talking that you were the parents that I wanted for this baby. And he heard me, and so he wanted to come and be born. And so he was. And so that was it for me. That was the baby I was supposed to have, no matter what all the people were saying in the background, go slow, go slow. So what would you think would happen next? We'd seen this baby, we didn't get to be able to take him home till the next day. We had nothing. We had not a bottle, we had not a crib, nothing. We had zero in our house. So what would most more people do? Go shopping? No. We went to a party. We went to the Sertoma Club Spring Fling party that was at the Princess Anne Hunt Club that year. What a fabulous party. I knew I was going to know a million people there. I had to tell somebody that I just got this baby. And I walked into this party, and I saw a friend of mine, and she was ridiculously pregnant. And she had been having infertility issues, and I was like, holy fuck, you're pregnant. And she said, yeah, and I'm having a baby in a couple of weeks. And I thought to myself, that's what they all say. And then a look came over her face because I was obviously not pregnant. And she was like, how are things going for you? And I was like, oh, don't worry about me. I got one today. I'm picking them up tomorrow. It's all good. So that fabulous Sertoma Club party ended. And we went home, and you would think we would probably worry about a bib or a diaper. We didn't. We just didn't. I think Lindsay actually went to see Widespread Panic that night. Which they were a small band in, so it was easy to get into. And then the next morning we woke up, and we went to pick up our baby. And there was a magic car seat on our front porch. No idea where it came from. It was just there, so we could legally pick up our baby. So we went and we picked him up, and the lovely nurse who was there, she kept giving us diapers and bottles of formula, and we kept saying, no, we're done for weeks. And we put the baby in the car, and that 2 hours that we were gone to the hospital, we came home, and all we knew is that we were we were growing our family, we were filling it with love, we were bringing this baby home. But in that 2 hours, all the people that loved us, all those women whose 16 baby showers I went to, it was everything I needed. I didn't need one thing. All the diapers and onesies and all the stuff I didn't even know about were there because they knew that we were just growing our family. Now, that child is now 22 years old. He is set to graduate from college this May. His name is Bilisoly. This kid has already done incredible things, absolutely incredible things, and we're expecting a lot more. But as you can tell, obviously, the biggest growth is he's no longer 21 inches tall. Thank you.